Welcome to In Hindsight, where we showcase local New Mexico. We also talk about the new hot topics, and maybe you're the a-hole. And I'm your host, Day.
I'm Rhea.
And I'm Vivek.
And this is Octo and Retail.
Yes.
And today we're actually gonna highlight our co-host Rhea because she has her own small business that she
Yeah.
just started. It's a coin and art gallery.
Yes.
Correct?
Yes, so it's a coin and art gallery. We've been in business for over a month now, and
Exciting.
everything has been going good. So I'm featuring a lot of my artwork there, and it's gonna be located in the Don Luis Plaza in Old Town.
Oh, okay.
Ooh.
So this the gallery that you have, do you have like different artists or do you stay there the whole time or do they like how does the gallery work?
So the gallery, it's really a live art performance. So every time you go there, I'm usually working on my next piece, and then my significant other is doing coin art. So he works on each piece while you're supporting our artwork.
Oh, that's so great.
Yeah.
I mean, like looking at all these like art pieces, they're like so cool, so unique. Like I like craft, but like I have a time limit. If it's
Yeah.
more than 2 hours,
Yeah.
abort. Like that's the thing, because like people are
Exactly.
just like, oh, you did like such a great job, and it's like, yeah, it was a 2 hour project. If it was a 3 hour, it would have been a disappointment.
Yeah, I was like that at first. So I got a lot of my inspirations by going through the galleries in Las Vegas. And there was this main artist, his name is Create, and he does, it's mixed media. So I got my inspiration to start that, and to be honest with you, I was a terrible drawer, so I don't even know how I've even
There's
gotten
no
that
such thing.
far.
It's like I feel like like sometimes you go to galleries and you see like 7 squares, and I'm like, how are you like $3,000? I can do like my little freaking niece can do this.
Yeah.
So do you do mixed media mostly or
Yeah,
what's your...
so I started out with acrylics.
Okay.
And I started literally with an 8x10 canvas that you get at the dollar store
Yeah.
with dollar store paint. And then during that time, I was in a really toxic relationship, a really bad relationship. And I was dealing a lot with my mental health. So I wanted an outlet. So I started in my old apartment. I set up the cardboard, I laid everything out, and I just started studying YouTube and started practicing and practicing. And now this is like 2 years later, and I've started getting more into mixed media, and I'm in a gallery now. So
That's
Did-
fantastic. That's
Yeah.
very inspirational.
yeah,
This is Rhea's Adele moment. Because you know how
Yes.
like Adele's 22
Yeah.
album is like from her heartbreak.
Uh-huh.
She was also in
yeah,
a toxic relationship, so she like did all these songs and stuff.
yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
That was like my album there, as I'm painting.
So usually like how long usually like a piece takes you, or like what's your process usually, that kind of stuff.
Okay, so my latest piece, it's 4 foot. It's pretty much almost as tall as me, and it took me about 3 days. So each piece, like my bigger pieces, have been taking me 3 to 4 days, and then my smaller pieces, which are like 8x10, take me maybe like an hour to 3 hours.
That's so great.
That's cool.
Yeah. Like usually like how many pieces do you make in like a day, a week, or like it's more like inspiration? Sometimes you're fast, sometimes you do a lot.
Yeah. So if it's like a lot of my small pieces, it'll take me. I can do like 8 pieces sometimes in a day, and then if it's my big pieces that I've been working on, it takes me like 3 or 4 days, depending on what type of materials I'm using.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think art is like really cool to me.
Yeah.
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 Like
I was going to ask, like, have you thought about maybe teaching others?
Yeah,
Yeah.
actually, I am thinking about going along that route after I finish my next projects on my next pieces. I'm definitely gonna be teaching people.
Cool.
yeah.
Yeah.
And will that be like in person, online, in the
It's
studio?
gonna be in person.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We should do like we should collab, like do like like maybe like a tea party, paint your own kind of
Yeah.
thing.
Yeah.
In the
that'd be
park, have like my little cute tent.
Yeah, I
Have like a
definitely
little
would.
British tea party in between like painting
Yeah.
breaks.
Yeah.
So like, what is like usually your because you said you're mixed media.
Yeah.
Like, what is like usually your favorite things to mix, or like right now, what is like your obsession?
Okay, so I've been using guitar picks
Ooh.
as a lot of so everything that you've seen in the pictures, those are all from guitar picks.
Wow.
And I got that inspiration from my significant other that I've been dating because he's a guitarist.
Uh-huh.
And I was like, I want to try something different. And then it just clicked to me, and I was like, guitar picks, why not?
Yeah.
Nice.
So, and that's where you see in like the Japanese Zen circle, and then you see the bonsai tree. That's all guitar picks and mixed media.
Wow, I
acrylic.
wouldn't have
Amazing.
even.
I wouldn't have
Yeah.
guessed. I wouldn't have
Yeah.
guessed.
Yeah.
That's the thing.
Yeah.
And the thing is just like I said, it's just like, because like I, you know, I travel a pretty good amount. And it's like that's one of the things that like when I travel outside of the country again, I want to buy more art.
Yeah.
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 Because what I did, like when I was traveling, I was buying, what did I have? Like for the winter.
Scarves.
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 So I have like a collection of scarves from like
Yeah.
all over the world. So
Oh, wow.
so like when I
Nice.
look at a scarf, I'm like, oh, I got that in Belgium.
Yeah.
I got that in Korea. I
Yeah,
got that in
exactly.
Japan.
Nice.
So I think like art will be kind of
That's
cool
the
to
next
think.
thing. That's
yeah,
the next thing.
that's the
yeah.
next thing. Because like I mean, you can never go wrong with art. You know?
Exactly.
Yeah.
And honestly, with art, what I love about art, there are no mistakes.
Yeah.
And it's therapy. You know, you get to do something you love to do. You get to represent, put out a message out there into the world. And for me, I do want to inspire other women to get into it too, because I have met some women that have been in domestic abuse situations and really bad relationships. And I told them down the line, I do plan on teaching so I can help those women kind of regroup and have a therapy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like,
No, but that is a thing.
That's
Art
amazing.
therapy
Yeah, yeah.
is
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
a thing. Like
Of course.
that's like how
Yeah.
you like process through like
Yes.
your
Yes,
emotions
yes.
and stuff.
Yeah.
I think that's really cool that like you try to like channel
yeah.
you know your emotions, because like I said, it's just like I want to, I'm ambitious, but like I said, it's like because I made a piece that was just like I think about almost the same as
Yeah.
in my stairs, but like I wanted it to be kind of like very chunky, kind of more, it's just acrylic, so
Oh,
it's like
nice.
more like kind of like it's just acrylic, but like you can tell that there's like texture to it.
Yeah. Oh, awesome.
But it was like literally at an hour and a half. I was like,
You're like,
okay,
should I keep going?
exactly. No, yeah, exactly. Because I'm like,
yeah.
okay, it's almost done. I
Yeah.
should just finish it.
Yeah.
You know, so
But I think that's the thing with art, right? You can stop at any point and say, yeah, that's done.
yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah, well, the thing also is like
Maybe.
I saw like an article of like one of the thing for artists is like looking at their things and like not critiquing it, because the thing that I made for acrylic is like
Yeah.
literally just like a mix of like orange and blue, because I wanted to do kind of like a Broncos
Yeah.
color for my husband. It was like a present. It was a present for Christmas. So it was supposed to be not that, but that's what happened to it. It wasn't supposed to be modern art. It was supposed to be something.
Yeah.
So, but that's what happened. So now it's hanged. And like people do tell me, it's just like, oh, this is really cool. Where'd you get that?
Yeah.
Or like, you know, did you do that? And like I also just made like wreaths for the summer, for door wreaths. So I
Yeah.
have like my little flower wreaths
Oh,
and my Easter
nice.
wreaths, and I'm gonna
Nice.
do a Halloween wreath. It's like you look at your thing and you wanna like fix it
Yeah.
all the time.
Yeah, I know. That was me. Honestly, that was me when I first started out. You don't even know how many times I've repainted and repainted, and I was like, I don't like this, and I would critique myself, and I was like, you know, I need to channel that energy because I already felt that in that relationship of just being put down and being critiqued all the time, you know. So I end up channeling all that energy into my art, and I was like, I just kept getting better and better, and I was like, you know what, I love myself, so,
Yes.
and I love my art, and I want everybody to support, you know, and I want to support others too, so I'm not going to be that person that puts people down, you know,
Yeah.
and take myself to that bad place. I was like, no, I'm gonna keep going.
Yeah. No.
That's awesome. So one sort of practical trick that I've
Yeah.
learned about something like that is that you finish something, then you just put it away.
Yeah.
And then you go back to it 1 or 2
That's
days
hard.
later. No, you put it away
It's
for a couple of
really
days.
hard. Because
I know,
I
but-
was doing my wreath and I was
Yeah.
like literally staring at it was already in my door.
Yes.
And I kept telling, like, literally this is the day
Yeah.
after.
Yeah.
And like I tell my husband, he's just like, what do you think? But isn't it like kind of like not
Exactly.
balanced? Like there's like
Yeah.
more leaves
Exactly.
in here than this.
Yeah.
And he's like, leave it alone.
You need space. You need space
Yeah.
from it.
Yeah.
Because then you can come back and look at it from a different perspective. You know, some other things will stand out. So at least that's my
Exactly.
my
And then with every piece, you know, for me, I'm sometimes I'm like, oh, I don't personally like it, but
Yeah.
then the next person's like,
They
I
like it.
love
Yeah,
it, and
yeah.
you know, every
Yes.
idea is you draw in a different type of person.
course.
Yeah.
So,
And I
course.
think that's what it is too about art. It's just like, you know, sometimes we do reflect ourselves into it, right? So like, and that's why like when I see like art sometimes, like I said, with like the 7 squares and I'm like, what are
Yes.
you trying to tell
Yeah.
me? You're 7 squares.
So
You know what I mean?
I mean, the thing
Yeah.
is like this is my take on it. Is that art is a matter of the heart, right?
Mm.
And all the critique and analysis is a matter of the head. Right? And the more you can stay in the heart, the more you enjoy it. Right? It's
that's
like
true.
That's true. I can
that's
totally
love
see
that.
that.
yeah.
Yeah. So, and it's like what was the latest piece that you made?
So my latest piece, it's a giant 4-foot canvas, and I did a wine bottle pouring into a glass, and it's incorporated with LED wire, so it all lights up. Yeah,
Ooh.
and
Why did you not send us that picture?
I just finished it yesterday. Yeah, I just finished it yesterday. So it has like manifestation messages, like prosperity, wealth, and money, and the message is saying it's already yours. So everything that you manifest, it's already yours. Pretty much.
That's very sweet. Very sweet.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That is very
So-
sweet. Yeah.
No, and I think also like when we think of art, it's like we think of like museum art also, like you know,
Yes.
paintings, sculptures, that kind of thing. So like to do like you know like the mixed
Yeah.
media thing is kind of cool because like I remember going to Brooklyn and they do like the live
Yeah.
painting thing. You don't even think about it, you know, like somebody who's actually doing it like in the moment.
Yeah.
Oh,
And then
yes.
you're trying to guess like, oh, what is he doing now?
Yeah.
Like, what is
Yeah.
stroke gonna be? Like, what is this color means? That kind of thing.
Yeah.
You know, to see somebody actually doing it. I mean, I like public speaking, but I don't know if I'll ever do that. Like, that's too much to me.
Have you guys seen the sand art people do?
Yeah.
That is really
That's
cool.
really
That's
awesome.
really, really cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I've seen that a few times.
And it's cool because, like, if you think about like, it's not gonna stay there. It's a very,
I know. It's
it's
like
a very temporary thing.
it's like life. It's not gonna be here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And honestly, for me, I feel like art is like really a footprint just being left behind. And it just makes me more inspired to keep going because I do want to leave that footprint behind.
So cool. And it's like you said, like you started or like you did like little acrylics and stuff.
Yeah.
And we were just like even thinking about it, and you said like you would actually like to do, you know, like live ones because like right now they do a lot of like the sip and paint events.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
You know, where you're like wine.
You're like,
But also like I feel like if you think about it like logically, like should I be painting while I'm drinking wine and tipsy? You know what I mean? Maybe this is not the best
No, but I think there's a reason to it.
because you
Yes.
so you don't
There is.
overthink.
Yeah, because
is.
people have so much self-doubt and self-judgment, and with that alcohol, it comes down a little bit. Though I would not recommend, like I don't do that, but no, I have other ways of bringing that self-judgment down,
Yeah.
which do not involve alcohol. But anyways, but I can understand the
concept.
logic.
Yeah.
behind it,
Yeah, no, I can see that. And I think that's what like it's really cool to think of like, you know, how artists cuz like I said it's just like my thing is like I'm a copier. I can't do things like by myself like if
Yeah.
because like
So-
people cuz like I'll draw things and people are like, "Oh, that's amazing." And I'm like, "This is not mine. I saw it online and copied it for my thing that I like."
No,
Yeah.
I think it's not that you're a copier. I think you're a perfectionist.
It
I think
could
that's what
be.
it is.
Yeah.
And then you're afraid that you'll make mistakes.
mistakes. Ugh,
Yeah, that's the
what
thing.
it's not that you're a copier. No.
It
I need to
goes.
talk to my therapist about
Yes.
Maybe this is what you're
No,
talking.
because, like, have you seen kids? Kids don't have those concepts.
That's
Yeah,
They'll do
it's
whatever.
true.
Okay.
Right?
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
you were that at some
Exactly.
point.
Maybe,
right?
maybe. But I am
All of us
Asian
were.
too, so
Yeah.
it's like we all have that.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
it's
True.
never good enough.
Everybody has childhood trauma.
Yeah.
I don't disagree, but
Yeah.
And you know, that's also comes back to my latest piece, what I did, the bonsai tree and the Zen
Yeah.
circle. It's the concept from Buddhism of letting go. It's really letting go and being in peace and harmony. And then,
Being in the moment.
yeah, being in the moment and a spiritual rebirth.
That's really
So-
cool.
cool.
And it's also cool because like you get to put like your own take
on
own,
it,
you know,
yes.
I think that's
Yeah.
really cool. So you were talking about like toxic relationships. Speaking of that, is like this is where we segue to our hot topic of the day. So everybody knows right now Taylor Swift is really hot, but she's also have a new love life. This guy named Matt Healy, and he has a little bit of controversies behind him. And we can like literally go on circles about this guy or whatever. So like, but I think it's more of like in your personal life, because we have all dealt with it. How do you deal when a family or a friend or even a close friend, right, is dating or within a relationship with, we will call now people that have a lot of red flags, right? Like how? Because the thing is just like I think like through the ages, because like this is what I tell my friends now, because I do have friends that are younger or single, right? Is that if that person makes you happy at that moment, you know, who am I to tell you? Because like I will never fill a void that they're filling at the moment.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter what I do. I could be hanging out with you 24/7 doing everything, but that void is completely different from a significant other to a friendship, right? So what I tell them now is like, I will always support you. I'll never critique you. I will never judge you. But the time that it shifted from happy to unhappiness, then I will be there for you. But if there's still some happiness, if this person still brings some kind of happiness to your life, I have no business. You know what I mean? Because that's the thing also
Yeah.
is like, when I was in my 20s, I will do that thing where like, well, I'm just trying to be honest. You know what I mean? And
Yeah.
what I realize about now is like, yes, people like blunt people, but it's not about the message, it's how you deliver it.
there's a difference between being rude and being honest. Right? In India, there's an ancient saying in Sanskrit. It says, when you speak pleasant. Right? So the first thing is you speak truth. Right? Satyam Briyat. Second is speak pleasant. Priyam Briyat. Then it says, do not speak unpleasant truth and do not speak pleasant lies.
That is really good because it's like a
it's-
double-edged sword.
Yeah,
almost,
because
yeah.
see, so you speak the truth, right? But don't speak unpleasant truth,
That's true.
right? Don't speak lies, and especially not pleasant lies at all, right? So, like, so that's one part of it. Okay. The other thing that you said, something which I was thinking about, is relationships don't fill you, right? We think that we'll get fulfillment or that somebody else will make us happy.
So true.
But the only person responsible for your happiness is you. Right?
Yes, but
Nobody else can do it.
Yes, but the problem is like we're now in our point of, you know, because like I've always been independent and I never like, yes, I am very extroverted, but I never have like self-doubt and I've always have self-confidence. But my husband is very introverted. I have a lot of like self-confidence issues. So I have to reassure him a good amount. Like the whole idea of like you can only fulfill yourself
Yes.
is a nice motto that you hang in your wall, right? It's a nice mantra.
I disagree with that.
But not a lot of people, I know people that even say it,
Yeah.
but like to actually accept it that like, you should be happy for who you are. Because I have friends that are like, they don't go out by themselves. They don't go dinner by themselves. They don't go to watch by themselves. And I think like for women, because like we talked about it because we're a community, so it's more common. But if you think about it, for men stop having friends when they get married because now they have like a
Yes.
significant other, right?
I'm not denying what you're saying.
Yeah.
Right? Men definitely have, they need a little extra push. Men need a circle of men friends around them. and that tends to go away once they're in a relationship. I agree with that. But my point is that we all have to do that inner work to find joy in ourselves. Right? Only then, so my thing is that you can only give what you have. Right? So if you're not happy, you cannot
That's
make
so
somebody
true.
else happy. Right? So you have to do that yourself. That work needs to be done. When some people will go their entire life and not do it, that's a different story. But I think many
needs to be
people
done.
are waking up to the fact that I cannot rely on the people outside or things
fulfill
outside
me,
to fulfill me, right? So I think that's where okay,
Therapy.
it's
Very important thing.
I say meditation, but okay.
Meditation,
That helps.
self-care, those are very important things.
Mental health, yeah.
Yeah.
Or more like the biggest question we can ask ourselves is, who am I really? Right? I mean, if you have that question, okay, who am I? So I'll tell you a story, okay? This happened not too long ago, okay? I was teaching a program at the Metropolitan Detention Center, the Bernalillo County. Right? So this group of men, they're inmates, and I asked them this question, okay, who are you? Right? And we had this discussion. Then I asked them the question, okay, where are you? Right? So they started joking that, okay, what kind of question is that? We are in the jail, right? I mean, there's
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
So then what I asked them to do is just maybe you guys can try this right now, okay? So for a moment, just imagine, okay? So you are in this building,
Okay.
This building is in, if you close your eyes and do it, then it's a little more effective, but it's okay. So you're in this building. This building is in Albuquerque, right? So just imagine, you lift yourself up and see that you're in Albuquerque. And that's in New Mexico, right? And that's in the US. That's on this planet Earth. That is in this solar system, right? That is in this Milky Way, right? Which is a tiny fraction of this whole universe. Right? So if you expand like that, then you suddenly realize that, you are connected with everything. And that connection is what brings fulfillment. I know we went on a tangent a little bit, but that connection to everything else is what brings fulfillment, is what brings completeness. Not one particular person, not one particular relationship, not the things that we have and don't
But we
have.
get
right?
lonely.
Yeah.
You know?
But see, that's what I'm
That's the
saying.
thing.
If you run away from that loneliness, or you try to somehow stuff it with other things, it's not going to go away. Right? If you give it a bear hug, if you embrace your loneliness, that's when you find you're actually connected.
Yeah.
Right? So anyways, we went on a tangent. I don't know, let's
So
get back
I
to
do
our
have
show.
a question for Rhea, because we are both married, right? It's not that our opinion doesn't matter
Yeah.
anymore. We are both married.
That is
and-
wisdom right
yes,
there.
and we are millennials,
Yeah.
right? So how do you deal? Because you're single, you're definitely younger than us.
Yeah.
I mean, so how do you deal when your girlfriend comes to you and complains about their boyfriend that because there was this really
Yeah.
video. I wish I could attach to it because I show it with my husband. This guy has this little tiny red flags in his hands, and there was a girl, and the girl was talking to him, and he's like, "I love cooking, I travel," and then behind her was this guy with this giant red flag, waving it like this, taking her attention, right? And it's just the guy with the little tiny flags is like, I also paint, I practice self-care. And
Yeah.
she's like, I'm gonna go somewhere. It's like, no, don't go there, don't go there. What do you do when you have friends that have significant others that have some red flags or a little bit toxic? How do you deal with it? What's your style?
Well, I would identify, does my friend have red flags? Because sometimes what you
Their
are
baggage
is what
aligned.
you attract, A red flag attracts a red flag sometimes.
Okay.
And then I would
Clap
think,
with one hand.
yeah, I would give her advice. Because it's so funny that you talk about this. So I had a friend, and I was giving her some advice because they were together for 6-7 years, but there was already a lot of red flags. And then she kind of became one of the red flags too, because she ended up cheating. So, so I already had identified. I was like, okay, yeah, that's kind of already a red flag for you for you to be cheating on your significant other.
Yeah, it's like you're trying to find reasons now, right?
Yeah.
Because the thing also about relationships is that it's hard, but I think not just relationship. Once you invested time or money into it, it's hard to let go. Because my husband is like
Sunk cost.
a hoarder. I mean, he's not because I'm with him,
Yeah.
but like I'm like go off this item, like go off this item, you know. But I think like it's also hard when you invest, especially when you, because like I said, it's like when I was younger, you know, I wanted to be like the friend who tells the truth.
Yeah.
Very mean now that looking back at it. But you know, it's like, but also it's just like, you also don't want to lose friendships, because then what I realize as I get older is that just because I don't like that guy or that girl or that person, they marry that person.
Yeah.
And then now you're
Exactly.
stuck with them forever, and you were talking bad about them to your friend.
Yeah.
That makes
Right?
it worse.
You know what I
that
mean?
makes it worse. Yeah.
Because like, I mean, yes, given they were asking me for advice, you know, and you know, I had this term for a while. It's called ass a-hole. Like it's like ass HOLE. Because
Yeah.
like they ask you for an advice they don't want to hear, and then they do the exact opposite. They do
Yeah.
what they want to do
Yeah.
anyway. So you're just like there, and you're like, why
Why did you
would
come
Why
to
did I
me?
give
Why
you
did you come to
why
me?
did you even ask for my
Yeah.
advice when you weren't even gonna follow it?
So my take on that is like, what I would do is instead of giving advice, I would ask them questions and let them come to their own conclusion.
That's what
Like,
I do now.
That
So
is
it's like-
true.
it's like
Because
just
you know
ask them.
what?
Yeah.
I was watching this interview and I was with a psychologist. They said no matter where you've been or how you've grown up and what everything that you've been through as far as
Yeah.
trauma or anything, one of the biggest decisions you make in life is your partner. Because
Yeah.
that can change your
course.
future.
Of course, of course.
It is, because like you are
It's agency.
spending your lifetime with them. I mean,
Tech-
50% doesn't.
yeah.
Yeah. But like, you know, but like that's the thing. It's just like they're the person that you share your most intimate of intimate things,
Yes.
you know, and they see you in your more intimate and intimate things because you live with them eventually, you know, and you share children with them.
Exactly.
You know, I mean,
Yeah.
if you do, or even pets.
Yeah.
Because, you know, like I
Yeah.
follow this guy because my husband's like, why do you follow a divorce lawyer? And I'm like, because it's funny. You know, he
Yeah.
has this like funny take because he's like, he gives you like advice on it, just like, you know, I'm a divorce lawyer and I see people and they
Yeah.
have pets, and then divorce comes and she wants a dog and he wants a
course.
dog.
Yeah.
There's
Of
only one dog. You can't cut them in half. You know, it's a Solomon dilemma,
Yeah.
right? Or, you know, and even like bigger things like a house and properties. I mean,
Yeah.
it's not that a dog's not important,
Yeah.
or a cat, you know, but it's one of those things, or children. It's just like, you know, it's like when you're not married, you know, it's even harder because there's no legal ties
true.
to that thing,
Yes.
Yeah.
right? So when you're dating someone and you buy a pet with them, you know, you're thinking like, oh, we're gonna adore this pet for life, but, you know, till they die. So,
Yeah.
but you know, it's like, but then like a year into a relationship, and you're like, nope, and you're like,
Exactly. Yeah.
who's Gizmo's? Well, who
Who gets the gecko?
Yeah, who
Who
gets
keeps the
Gizmo
gecko?
now? You know, who's now the, you know, who's now the owner
Yeah.
of Gizmo? And now it even adds to the thing,
Of course.
you know. And like I said, it's like relationships are already complicated. And also like what I realize is that people stop bringing their significant other to me.
Yeah.
Like
Oh,
they
wow.
would talk about it, like they would talk about the
Yeah.
significant other and they're dating them, and you know, and I'll be like, oh, when do I meet this person? And some of them are like, you won't.
Uh-oh.
And I'm like, oh, what?
You're like, is that a red flag?
Yeah, I'm like, is this a fleeting romance? Is this a summer romance?
Yeah.
You know, is he number 3? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You know, and
funny.
there are some instances that are like that, but like I never want to put my friends in a predicament where they feel judged, right? Because
Yeah.
like, oh, she's gonna say something about my significant other. She's gonna point out like the
Yeah.
red flags, you know,
Yes.
because you know, red flags are really hard to see in rose-colored glasses, right?
That's true. That is true. That is true. That
Yeah.
is true.
So
Yeah.
so it's just like I think that's why it's also funny because people are like putting their take on Taylor Swift that she doesn't care if we care about her new boyfriend. You know what I mean? I think it's
Yeah.
more like how do you deal with it in a personal, like, because everybody deals with it unless you decide you have no friends. But people also
Yeah.
have family. Even people that don't have friends have family, right? And they also date and they get married
Yeah.
and all that stuff. So like, it's just like one of those necessary, unnecessary evil kind
Yeah.
of thing.
And I think when it comes to dating too, it's the choice, right? We chose that person,
Yeah.
and some people take it into more of a possession, like, oh, since I'm with you, you're mine, like,
Yeah.
and then that's when I'm like, okay, that's kind of a red flag there, like the jealousy, possession. I'm like, yeah,
Red flags.
no. By the end of the day, true love or love for your significant other, it's out of choice. We choose to love that person.
No, and like we know because like we're both married and like we were spending this together for 15 years. It's like for my single friends, all they see are the good things.
Yeah.
It's like social media. You only see the fun things and the
Yeah.
big things, Of course, when they see
don't see
me,
the hard work.
when they see me and my husband together, they're like, "You guys are so loving and all that stuff." And I'm
Yeah.
like, "Oh, we annoyed each other like 98% of the time, But it's like just like everything else, relationships are work.
Yeah.
Oh,
We
yes.
don't just like come here. Like we
Mm-hmm.
make sure we have date nights. We make sure we take vacations
Yeah.
together. I make sure that like I asked him like the deep questions or like are
Yeah.
you fulfilled with our relationship? How can I make you happier? How do you
Yeah.
what can I do to make
Yeah.
you feel like you're supported? Because like I said, it's like right now in our personal life, we're dealing with things and depressing stuff.
Yeah.
But like but I told him it's just like. Yes, I could have done with this by myself. I could deal with
Yeah.
this by myself. But the thing about it is like I don't have to.
Yeah,
I have
that's
you and you have
beautiful.
me, and together, together we fight through this
Yeah.
together.
Yeah, yeah.
Because like I always tell people, it's like you don't fight each other.
Yeah.
You fight
You're
the
the team.
problem.
You're
yeah,
the
you're a
team.
team.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter what it is.
Exactly.
Like you don't look at it as a couple of like you were wrong and I was
Yeah.
right. No, it's like it's more of like okay, so what's this thing that's like tearing us apart? What is it
Yeah,
that we're not
let's confront it.
recognizing? Yeah, it's like let's confront this together. Do you have a fear?
Yeah.
I have a fear. Let's meet in the middle. Let's
Yeah.
figure it out. Let's talk it out. That kind of thing,
I was going to say, have you guys heard about this couple from Seattle? They're called Gottmans.
No.
So these guys are psychologists, I guess, and they have done tons and tons of research on relationships. And they got to a point where, they had this place where they would bring people, like couples together, and they would just record them. And they got to a point where within a few minutes, they could predict whether they'll get a divorce or not. And it's very accurate, very, very accurate.
Yeah.
So they have it all documented. It's
crazy.
amazing. It's really amazing work.
I have to watch that.
Yeah.
And speaking of complications, we
Okay.
are now going to go to our next segment.
Yes.
Are you the Ahole? This is also a little bit complicated because I think everybody can relate to it because we are couples. I don't have children, and like you're single, but like you have like friends' kids,
Yeah.
nephews and nieces. So it's a very interesting dynamic.
Okay.
So
Bring it on.
So I, 24 male, have a sister, 33 female, who recently went on a cruise with her husband, 33 male, to have some alone time for the two of them. She asked me to babysit her kids for a week. Our other siblings all have other kids, and I don't. I agreed because we are a close family and I love my nieces and nephews. My sister had 5 children, 3 boys aged 13, 11, and 8, and 2 girls aged 14 and 11. My sister warned me that her 2 oldest, Riley 14 and Bryce 13, were recently getting into some spats, and I thought nothing of it. Thought it was a normal teenage sibling rivalry. I stayed in her home while my husband, 24 male, was at our house watching and feeding our cats and dogs. The first day went down fine. I played some video games with the youngest, and the kids didn't seem to bother each other. However, issues started to arise on the second day. Bryce had a baseball practice, and when I picked him up, we were all hungry. I took the kids to a local Mexican place. In the car, Bryce made some comment about Riley if she'd eat it, but I dismissed it. We went there, and Bryce and Riley were talking to each other and started talking to the younger ones about each other. After we were done eating, I drove to my sister's and asked what was going on. I froze, went to Riley, and she wasn't too cooperative other than saying Bryce was being annoying. I went to Bryce, and he gave me much more detail. He told me that their recent arguments had started a few weeks ago due to Riley's bullying behavior toward a boy. He told me that this boy is a new kid at his school who only came a few months ago. His parents are from Bolivia originally. He told me that his friend is also bisexual and likes both sports and makeup. Him and his friends talk to the boy about sports. He sits at their lunch table and they quickly become friends with him, including encouraging him to try it out for the soccer team next year. He also said that the boy is kind of shy, and from the description, he sounded like he could be autistic. A few weeks ago, Riley and a group of girls got in trouble for mocking the boy in class, making both racist comments and comments about him being too skinny and telling him to eat more. They also asked if he didn't eat because he was hungry. Bryce mentioned that his family is actually not poor at all, and I had some talks about his feelings. My sister called me mid-cruise day 4, to check in while she had service for a bit. I told her what had happened, and she got mad at me for getting involved, and it wasn't my business. I got mad at her and started to talk louder, telling that it was because I was babysitting them, and she dismissed it, and I told her to stop protecting Riley before hanging up. Our parents are texting me about asking to apologize to her for being too involved. My husband says I did nothing wrong. AITA. See? So,
Complicated.
Yeah.
of course, family is always complicated.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah, so because you have children of your own. So if you have a family, babysit your children, I mean, families are very meddling. It's just a given.
Yeah.
No, I think in my case, family or friends, if I'm trusting them with my child, I give them full permission. That's, you treat him like your own kid. So I have no qualms about it. Like, in fact, especially at teenagers, this is the advice I give, parents of teenagers also, is that you cannot influence your child as much as you can influence their friend, or your friend can influence your child. Because, the aunts and uncles have a different relationship. And especially at teenage, you are right. Your parents are wrong.
Yeah.
That's like,
When you're a
this is
teenager,
universal.
yeah, when
This
you're
is
all
universal.
teenagers, you're like,
Right? This is universal.
my parents are dumb, they don't know nothing.
Exactly, right? Exactly. But an aunt or an uncle that you trust can actually give you, really good advice, and you will listen. So I think this person is actually, they should actually increase their role and influence Riley even more.
Yeah.
That's how I would say.
Yeah.
Because the parent at teenage, who listens to their parents?
No.
Nobody does. Right?
Nobody
does.
Because I saw like a video of a psychiatrist,
Yeah.
and she's also a biologist, of she was explaining why teenagers don't listen to their family in a survival, back then when we're primitive. So what she was saying was that,
Differentiation.
was that that's the age where in cave times you go out and hunt, right? And go to the neighboring villages or seek out because you don't want to do incest. You know what I mean? You don't want to do it with your cousins, right? So you trek the other side of the world. At their time, I mean, it's not the other side, but there's lions and dinosaurs and stuff.
It's the other side of the river.
Yeah, exactly. So, they don't listen to the parents telling them, it's dangerous out there.
Correct.
Don't go, stay here. So in their brain, they're like, no, I'm going to trek it and, do my best and, be an independent adult.
Yes.
Right? So, some part of that has now went into, how, when we're in that age, we don't listen. And then once we stepped out of that age, older, that's when we're like, Mom,
Yes,
Dad, can
exactly.
we get buy a car, buy a house, please help me. Mom, So,
Also, it's the hormones, right? I mean, that's the time that you're differentiating. You've been in one sort of, upbringing all your life, and now you're differentiating. You're like, okay, that is me and my family, but who am I really? It's
That
back
is
to that
so
question,
true.
to identify yourself. Yeah.
During that age, it's like Socrates saying, know thyself.
Yes.
They're in the process of
Finding
knowing
that out.
thyself
Yeah.
and surrounding themselves with certain people.
Yes.
It heavily influence on
Yeah.
trying to know themselves.
Of course.
yeah.
Of course.
I think also, people forget it's just it's the 2-year-old toddlers knows teenagers, right? But toddlers are shorter.
Yeah.
The whole, no. It's them, trying to find independence, them trying to find
Yeah.
their voice. Because,
Yes.
I had, so not this vacation, but, last year, I had, a big talk with my nephew. And it was really, really hard.
Oh, really?
Because, it was, a really, really, difficult talk. Because, So like my goddaughters and my nephews are the same age and they've known each other since babies because they live in the same town. So on their birthdays, they see each other
Yeah.
like, almost at least every other month. I mean, they're busier now because they're teenagers, but like literally like they see each other all the time. They
Yeah.
know each other. So like my nephews will introduce them as cousins because now they have friends. And
Yeah.
last time I was there, we were hanging with their friends and they're like, one of the boys were like, oh, Gladys is cute. And, my nephew's like, ew, she's my cousin, that kind of thing now. So like I had to have like a big talk because like my goddaughter Gladys is very extroverted and she talks about her feelings and she's big and loud. And my nephew is not quite introverted, but he keeps to himself, and he's very like stern.
Yeah.
And this is right and this is wrong, right? And there was an incident where he was kind of telling her what to do, and there's like some feelings hurt, and I had to tell him, like the big talk of like, I know she can be annoying sometimes and she talks a lot, but you can't just like ignore her.
Yes.
That's also not nice, There's, because I think like he didn't want to hurt her feelings by, you know what I mean? And I told him, it's just like, I know this is the part where like you didn't know,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
So like he was ignoring her on the table when we were eating, So like I don't want to embarrass him at the time, but I
But you
also
still
don't.
need to address it. Yeah,
But I
yeah.
have to address it
Yeah.
before the next day because like
Of course.
forget about it. They're like, what are you talking about, Tita? That didn't happen. You know
Yeah.
what? Like what?
Yes.
So like I had to tell him that like you actually have to tell Gladys, you're being annoying at this moment. Can you just give me some time by myself?
Exactly.
Like sometime
Yeah.
or not, like just be like, Gladys, I don't want to talk to you right now. I'm gonna go play.
Yeah.
But he
Yeah.
didn't want to do that because he felt like that was rude.
But
right?
when that is even more empowering, right?
Yeah.
That's more free.
Yeah.
It's,
So like, and then I had to talk to Gladys and be like, I love you. I love your personality. Don't ever change. But you have to remember you and my nephew, JB.
Yeah.
It's
They're
like,
different.
you guys are totally different people. So like, cause like there was a part where they were like climbing those like big structures things.
Yeah.
Like her thing is like, like, go JV, you can make that step. And like he feels like she was
Oh,
pushing
pressure.
me, right?
Yeah.
She was pushing me. He's like, I wasn't ready, But like they've been so friends for so long. But now it's the teenage years, right?
Yes.
They were kids
It's changed.
before, so it's
Yeah.
a different thing. Now they
Correct.
have to navigate their friendship through puberty, right?
Yeah.
So like I talked to my sister, and she's like Leslie blah, but you're like, if you want to talk to him, sure. If you don't want to, sure. I don't care. But to
Yes.
me, it's just like, I told him, it's just like, I don't want you to think you did anything wrong. This is not anybody doing anything wrong. It's just, I don't want you guys to have any
situation.
misunderstanding, right? Because like, what would you feel if your friend was ignoring you, if you were in the same shoes,
True.
Yeah.
right? Because like, you don't see of it in your perspective because they have like a different
Of course. Yeah,
thing,
it's
right?
a
Because like my nephew, also my younger nephew, is just like, my friends will never ignore me. And I'm just like, yeah, little elementary kid. You're not even in puberty yet. You don't understand. So, and like I said, it's just like, and I told him, it's just like, I just want you to know that like maybe there are some things that you're not ready to tell your mom. And it's harder to tell your mom because I know like you don't want to disappoint her.
Yes.
I just want you to know that like me and your uncle are here
Yeah, exactly.
just in case there were times that you feel like you can't say something to your mom. Your mom is not the only person you can talk to.
Yes.
We're also here.
Yes.
Right?
See, that's such a
Yeah.
great thing. And in the story that you picked up, I think this is a responsibility all adults should take, is to make sure that the values that you care about are passed down to the next generation.
Yeah.
That's
Which I
true.
feel was, the person writing the story was trying to do that.
Yeah.
So I think it's
It's
good,
also
yeah.
hard because I do have like friends and people that are just like, don't parent my child.
Yeah.
You are not their parents. This is
That's
how
so
we do
true.
it in our house. You know
No,
what I mean?
it-
So it's like you're like, I don't want to cross that boundary.
That's like the parents' red flag.
It's it's to me, it's saying that the parents need to work on themselves. Right? And it's like
Yeah.
that'd be my take.
Yeah, that's because, like, honestly,
Yeah.
as a parent, you still got to be open. Like, I don't know if one day when I become a parent, theoretically, but I would be open to people's opinions, because if I'm so closed off, then I'm not giving a fair enough judgment. And what if they're saying is correct? What if it's
Yeah.
something wrong that I'm doing? Like, I
Yeah.
would want somebody to
Also, I
correct
mean,
me.
the other part of it is, I want my son to have his own judgment. Right? If another adult is coming and speaking to him, he doesn't have to agree to it. He can just listen
Yeah.
and then make his own choice also.
Have his own boundaries, yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
But how will he learn that if I'm stopping other people from interacting with him?
Yeah.
Right? So
that's
he needs
true.
to learn that to be
Yeah.
successful in the world.
Yeah,
That's
like
so
because
that's
you
also-
also want to create community,
Of course.
and it's like also like once you were anybody can like once somebody tells you no, in a way that like you don't say that to my child,
Yeah.
then you're very
There's a
hesitant. Then
distance,
yeah,
of course.
now you're hesitant to like speak out on other
Again.
instances, and then they tell you it's like why didn't you tell me? And I'm like.
You are the one who said
Yeah,
this. Right?
so like that, like another thing happens. Like, well, why didn't you tell me? And now you're like, well, because I don't know. Because the last time I was
Exactly.
in, nobody wants to be in trouble, even when you're an adult. And that's how we always feel. Like, did I do something wrong? Did I cross a boundary? You know what I mean? So it's just like one of those things. And like I said, it's just like I am very fortunate that like. The children that I do interact, like my goddaughters and my nephews and my nieces and all that stuff, like they do, like I am like a little bit more stricter than their parents, in some sense, not all of it, but
course,
like
of course.
but I'm also the fun tita, like
See,
so-
because you are fun, that's why you can also hold the boundaries. Right? So that they go together.
it's like a
If
it's a balance.
if you're boring and they don't interact with you, they're not going to listen to you, even if what you're saying makes
Yeah.
total sense. Right?
Yeah.
So,
No, my sister made fun of me because she's just like, of course she's gonna say yes. Because like there's an activity lined up for them every day. And you're here. Like they know if they upset you, there's no activity. You take that activity away. And I'm just like, no, I just want them to know that like, you don't do this to friends.
Yes.
Because it's really rare to have friends that you've known since you've been babies.
That is so true.
Right?
Honestly,
Especially
that
with
is
like
so
people
true.
moving and
Oh,
culture.
yes.
Like I have friends in the Philippines and family, but like I only see them so many years.
Yes.
Right? It's not the same. Like
it's
they
not the same. Yeah.
Like they literally at least they see each other on each other's birthdays, and there's two of them on both families, so at least it's twice a year.
true.
They swim on each other's pools, like and when I'm there, the last time I was there, they were together for the whole 3 weeks that I was there. Every day
Wow.
they were together, playing
Wow.
together the
Nice.
whole 3 weeks.
Nice.
They were having sleepover in each other's houses, and they're and also like they were also mixed gender because I have two nephews and two goddaughters. So the fact that like they're both childhood friends that are like two different genders,
Yeah.
Makes a
right?
big difference.
It's also nice
Yes.
because they know that like once they traverse that,
It's going to
Yeah.
help them in their relationships, right?
Yeah.
Because now they've grown up like
they have
that.
a perspective
They
of
have
like what it's like to
perspective,
be
yes,
on that gender
yes.
thing. Yeah.
I was going to make one last comment. So again, there's this another saying in Sanskrit which says that at the age of 16, beyond 16, you treat your child like a friend. Right? And this comes from years ago, but I think that age now should be around maybe like 10 or 12, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You stop parenting your child at that age and you become more like their friends so that they can trust you, you can trust them like that. But yeah, that's another thing, yeah.
Yeah. Well,
Cool.
we're definitely traversing very hot topics today.
Yes.
Big topics today, I think. But we do want to advise like local businesses or any businesses if you guys wants to be featured, like Rhea who's starting her own little small business, women-led business. If you wanted to be featured or wanted to sponsor the show or showcase any of your products, you can get in touch with us. And we will be happy to showcase you in the show. But for now, we will see you next week.